Hello, everyone. I'm a less friendly Scrum Master. So I used to be more friendly. Now I'm less. I'm not going to talk about AI. I'm going to talk about people. I know, it's a pity. I'm going to talk about self-designing teams workshop. What is it? Self-designing teams workshop is a part of less adoption. So if you want to reorganize your organization or start working in multi-team product development using less, there is some kind of a preparation period that usually takes from weeks to several months, maybe years sometimes. And then there is a quite visible event which is called Self-Designing Teams Workshop. So you gather the first group of people, like 50, 70 people, in one room. You set up some constraints around which those people, they self-organize and they build new multi-skilled, multi-learning, cross-functional, cross-component teams by themselves. So in this talk, I would like to show you how to prepare for this event and how to run self-designing teams workshop. And it is based on the case study of G2A, the company I work with from January this year. So my name is Krzysztof. I'm a big fan of less and multi-team product development. So basically, I enjoy helping big product groups to build great products without a chaos, basically. And I joined the G2A company in January this year as transformation manager. That's the official title. I play a role of Scrum Master, less like Scrum Master. What is G2A? Long story short, it is the marketplace for digital entertainment that connects sellers and buyers. So this is basically a place where you can buy digital things, items like games or gift cards in better prices. Okay, so when I joined the company in January this year, the company was organized in more or less like those kind of things that used to be called products. So we had this kind of a product, so 17 products, 17 product owners, 17 product backlogs. This is quite common scenario. For some reason, on the product market, leaders try to divide the whole product into smaller pieces, and they start calling those pieces products. As a consequence, they end up with multiple product owners, multiple product backlogs, but actually none of this are really products. None of this has its own revenue stream. So it's more like parts of the whole. So in less nomenclature, we call those things components. That's why we actually should talk about those like 17 components, 17 product backlog, component backlog, and 17 component owners. And the problem is that all those elements, those components, they are interrelated, dependent on each other. So that creates several different problems. For example, teams are organized around those tiny products, tiny components. And the problem is when the team looks at their own product backlog, component backlog, and they look at the top one priority, they think they work on something very, very important, top one. But on the global level, this top one, that locally is top one, then the globally, it could be like 358 priority. So the consequence of this, if you have narrow product definition, you have multiple products and multiple backlogs, which means more backlogs, more teams working on low-value items. So efficiently, they build low-value items. And we wanted to change that. Moreover, the feature average lead time, so actually we can call it time to market for something bigger, customer-oriented change, was taking 7 months in this organizational setup. Coordination overhead was significant, and the biggest problem was that adaptability, so changing direction was really, really high. Because of the dependencies, people had to make plans ahead. So we had all those spreadsheets, coordination, and mostly those so-called product owners, component owners really, most of the time they had to coordinate teams and across teams. Some of you may also experience that. It's quite a common scenario on the market. And we really wanted to be more adaptive, so whatever great opportunity emerged on the market, we wanted to start immediately working on it. That was not possible in this scenario, so we had to wait sometimes several months, change the plans, so replan, and people felt quite angry because every time they had to replan their work and so on, and coordinate across different components. That was quite difficult. And we changed that in April. So out of the 17 teams, we decided to leave those four as a component teams, just because of the specific technology, and it was quite risky to allow everyone to do changes in payments and money protection. So we decided that those four components, they didn't create any significant dependencies, so we decided to just to leave it as it is. Out from everything else, like the last 13 teams, we just gathered all those people in one room and then allowed them to create new teams, multi-learning, cross-functional, cross-component. Interesting fact, first of all those feature teams, they still working with one product backlog and so they have common goals and common priorities, and they have one product owner. So 7 teams work with one product owner. But interesting fact, all those 7 plus 4, so 11 teams, they work in one sprint. So they plan all together and then finish all together. So they really collaborate to finish what's really important from the global level. So there is no goal assigned to some particular team. So we share all goals and we share the whole priorities, and we pull from the top, so you can actually see the dynamics that work, which is the most important, are being pulled and delivered in very short cycles. And we reduce this for the big features, for the big customer-oriented, meaningful customer-oriented changes. We reduce this time to market from 7 months to 40 days. But this is for quite big change, yes, like solving big problems. We have hundreds deployments every week, so cycle time is for the user story is really, really, really short. Business results of the change. First of all, we reduce this time, and the second goal we wanted to achieve, we want to be able to grab these opportunities very easily. So whatever will that is emerge on the way or emerge during time, we wanted teams to just take it and implement. So in this setup is very, very easy because teams, all those 11 teams are in habits to pull from the top of the command backlog. So if new item, new problem, new opportunity is prioritized as a top priority, in sprint planning, during the sprint planning, teams, they just pull it from the top, and that's it, and deliver. Okay, the context. That was the problem. What was the original setup? What were the results, and now how did we do it? So preparing for the change. There is a preparation period before this workshop, the self-designing teams workshop. It took us 3 months. And I would say that was quite fast. So keep in mind that probably it may take more months, maybe 6, maybe a few years even in big companies. So what should we do during this preparation phase? First of all, education. Really, don't underestimate it. Educate everyone. We are talking about changing the organizational design. We are not talking about using some new practice like planning altogether or coordination. We are talking about completely redesigning at least product department. So leaders and really top leaders, they need to be involved in this change. So we needed to educate everybody. So I educated 180 people, and not about the framework itself. That was great, and practices are easy to understand. But actually, I wanted to really to have a big buy-in of those people, because we wanted to co-create the change instead of imposing and then having prisoners of the change. So we had to discuss a lot about the principles. What are the direction? What kind of a company we would like to become? and things like that, queuing theory, where the problems come from, and people were doing systems modeling, systems thinking, modeling different scenarios of organizational design. So that was crucial. We also took very frequent Ask Me Anything sessions, and then we spent a lot of time on educating, discussing the change. We also, in the meanwhile, when in this period of education, you have to decide what the product definition is. So we use this tool which is called Feature Teams Adoption Map, 2 dimensions. One dimension is actually the breadth of the product definition. So it could be very narrow, like a technical system, but you can make it more broad, like several technical systems. Maybe those systems are combined in some kind of a domain. You can think of several domains, maybe the whole customer journey, maybe several customer journeys, maybe the whole company, the whole product, maybe several products bundled, maybe the consortium of different companies, maybe the problem in the world or across different worlds. So this is how broad the product could be seen. The other dimension is activities. Things like when you define the definition of done, so think about this like defining the definition of done, like activities like coding, analyzing, UXing, architecting, no UXer, architect, but activities. So UXing, architecting. So we wanted having those activities in team. Like things like integrating, different kind of testing, deploying, maintaining, and so on. And we marked first where we are, so as it is, this kind of a breadth of the product definition, and then all those activities, the orange space. And then we discussed what is possible. Can we make the product definition a bit broader? As now you know, we wanted to avoid narrow product definition because it means a lot of local optimization. So we wanted to have the product definition a bit broader and start multi-team product development around one common goal. So we discussed maybe we should broaden this like to one customer journey. But still, it's not the end of the idea. So we said, like, let's make it even more broad. And at the end, we decided to have like the whole marketplace as one product and take every single team to contribute to this and pull work from the top of one product backlog. One product backlog, one product owner for entire product. That was the idea. We mapped all the heavily related and dependent technical components. We extracted some components that were not heavily dependent. We also decided to leave some activities like security testing, performance testing, because we were not ready to have it in our definition of done. But that was the idea. Let's define the product as quite broad. Also, we also had the idea on this definition of done, so we just put it on the paper. This DOD will be adjusted during the workshop itself, but we just wanted to have some idea, something to discuss about in the new teams. Finally, so you have educated people, you have defined the product, you found good candidate for the product owner. Probably the product owner has an idea on the vision of the product and most important items, globally important items, product goals, etc. And then you have other dimension, which is the activities, so DOD. So those are two artifacts needed for the workshop. So we basically gathered all together 70 people in one room in Rzeszów, and we planned 3 days to do it in 3 days. First day, team formation. Second day, product backlog refinement. And day 3, sprint planning. If I had to do it, once again, I would switch day 1 with day 2. So it would be much better to first, do some kind of a product backlog refinement, multi-team product backlog refinement, so people will be more familiar with what's coming, what kind of work is coming, and then they will do the team formation. And okay, let's focus on those 3 steps. So how to run the self-designing teams workshop. Opening, so preparation. Leaders reminded the goals of the transformation, what kind of a company would like to become. Perfection vision. We had a perfection vision with key indicators and so on. And we did also the farewell to the old structure, which was actually some kind of a ceremony. We asked the people to sit down in original squats, take an A3 paper and put some kind of a gratitudes for the past, for the collaboration they had so far. And when they did some thank you words and so on paper, we asked everybody all the teams to make paper airplanes out of those papers, and then on 3 to 1, all the teams, they just threw it away somewhere. So that was the ceremony to say we're saying bye-bye to the old structure. So from now on, there is no teams, no structure. Like just 70 people in one room. And then we did a break. After a break, we started preparation for the team formation. So the product owner, she introduced the product, vision, goals, strategy, went through the top product backlog items from the top of the product backlog. And then you ask people also to take a look on the definition of done, the paper we created. But we didn't want to discuss the DoD yet. So just we wanted them to understand the product items and then the DoD. How big is it? Okay, and every single person, okay, I hope you can see it, received some kind of every single person, so maybe start with this. So we also prepared the criteria for team formation. Things like the ideal feature team should have technical competencies allowing for implementation any of the items that will be on the top of the backlog. Number of people in team 8, not more than that. Seniority of the team is diverse. Team will be stable and unchanged. So they will be working on many different items, but the whole team is unchanged. Stable and changed, work together, and this is very important. They are willing and ready to work together and eliminate the competency gaps. It's not going to be after the change that everybody will magically have all the needed skills. They will have some gaps, and because they do it by themselves, they design the teams by themselves. We wanted them to be aware of what are the gaps, and then we wanted to give them space to learn and eliminate those gaps over time. And all the participants they received this kind of a cards to mark their own level of skills, like front-end, back-end, QA, UX, UI design skills. And we also prepared some kind of a big flip charts with 8 spaces. So we were thinking to have like at least 5 people, maybe 8 max in every single future team. So at some point we decided, to ask them, let's go and find your colleagues, form new teams. So you can see the flip chart on the left. So people already put their own cards on it. Look at the girl in pink. She's going to the flip chart, taking her own card, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to someone else. So I will form a new team. Maybe I will come back later on." And this is how it's done, really. So constraints on the back. So people are basically walking around, and then they did this first round in half an hour, second round in 15 minutes, last round in 5 minutes. So then in this day, we did also the team names and working agreement. Since we have new teams, we asked them to know each other better and then create new teams, basics for working agreements. DoD, that was the moment when those new teams, they went through the DoD, proposed changes, and we agreed on the common DoD. And that's it. We went to know each other better. We did some kind of a party after the first day. Second day, refinement, multi-team refinement. Third day, planning. And that was it. Key takeaways: structure drives outcomes. Don't underestimate it. Very often, people's behavior is the result of a system. So if something doesn't work in terms of a collaboration, a responsibility, or things like that, probably it's system that prevents people to behave differently. Educate everyone. That was a very important step. And we spent a lot of time educating. That's why the flip went really, really easily. And still the change is still there, and people really fight for it. They really I hope they like it. They say they like it, the way of working. And let people design their own teams. Don't do it for them. They will take the responsibility for the new teams and the gaps and so on, and focus on learning. What we wanted to achieve was teams to deliver 1 piece of gold instead of 100 pieces of mud. So we keep repeating every sprint. Please, people, take less. take less items. Why? In order to have a space for learning, growing skills, and being more aware what we are building. That would be all. Thank you so much.